Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, I have a darkly funny one for you right now because the Iranians are basically dragging Laura Loomer. They are basically trolling Laura Loomer over the death of Senator Lindsey Graham, which I'm sure you guys have all heard occurred Saturday night. So I have details on his death, but I also have a very interesting video to show you that they're using to troll her. Laura Loomer, of course, Donald Trump minion who is just a horrible, vile person, wants to destroy Iran. So, anyway, here's the deal. Here's what's going down. If you had not heard, Lindsey Graham died on Saturday night. He said he was not feeling well. He actually spoke with Trump. He had just returned from Ukraine hours earlier. He told Trump shortly, like hours before his death, "Oh, I'm feeling tired." Then another person spoke to Lindsey Graham after Trump and he said, "I'm not feeling well." So this person said, "Hey, you should go get checked out." And Graham said, "Yeah, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it after because I have an interview on Meet the Press on NBC." So he said, and then so he said, "I'll do it after that." And then I guess he joked with them and he said, "I quote, I can't die now." He said, "I can't die now. I still need to do," I think he said, like Russian sanctions. I need to, get this whole Iran war thing figured out. Named a bunch of international issues. So here's an article about that where he said, "I can't die now." So anyway, the EMS, the emergency medical people, their audio of their call was released, and apparently the 911 call came in around 8:30. Someone, I'm assuming maybe it was the person that he spoke with, called and said, "Hey, you need to get over there. You might have to, the door should be open, but if not, you might have to bust in," something to that effect. So we heard, through the EMS call, CPR was being administered. They thought that it was a heart attack. And then there were photos taken, I guess, by neighbors that he was taken out on a stretcher. And then Graham's staff came out and announced, like just after midnight on Sunday morning, that he died. Lindsey Graham is dead. So by Sunday afternoon, news outlets were saying, okay, preliminary reports from the coroner say that it was aortic dissection due to basically cardiovascular disease, untreated cardiovascular disease. So this is the Forbes report on this. And what that means is there was a tear in his aorta. So, he obviously had heart disease, as most Americans, especially meat-eating Americans, do. So pretty straightforward cause of death, it seems. Like I said, most Americans have this, but Iran is now taking advantage of this. They are now trolling Trump, trolling MAGA influencers like Laura Loomer. So check out, this is their latest AI Lego video. So this was shared by a pro-Iran account. Yeah, so not subtle at all, right? So Laura Loomer shared that video and she was, of course, whining, oh, they're threatening me. They were threatening me before. And look at Lindsey Graham was fine the day before. I mean, this is the way, heart issues, cardiac issues work, right? You seem fine. And then the next minute, you're in pain. And especially with what he had with a tear in your aorta, like you do not survive that, right? It's very rare that you survive that unless you were already in the hospital, from what I'm hearing, being treated for issues of the heart, and they can see that this has happened, that you have this tear, and they can rush you into emergency to an emergency surgery and repair it. But anyway, you guys might recall last week I shared a video of Iranians who were protesting and they had signs. They had signs of Graham's face, Loomer, Peter Thiel. They had Donald Trump, of course. They had all of Donald Trump's allies who have been pushing for this war and pushing for the death of Iranians. And they had bullseyes on their foreheads. Well, obviously, the timing of this is it makes it a little suspicious, but again, it seems pretty straightforward. But Russia is now getting in on this action as well. So here's an article from the Daily Beast that says Putin's mouthpieces taunt Trump over Graham's death. So hosts on Russian television were mocking Graham's death. There's a host named Margarita Simonian, I believe. She previously had called for Graham's assassination. So she's on there gloating. She called him a natural born fascist. She made a bunch of snarky remarks. And then there was another host, Vladimir Solovyov, I believe is how you pronounce it. Is everybody in Russia named Vladimir? Like, are they just like, they have no imagination. They can't come up with another name. Anyway, so this Solovov, or however you say it, he said, quote, Lindsey Graham croaked today. He said, croaked. Maybe I should speak the way Christian traditions demand, but I won't. He croaked suddenly. Only yesterday in Kyiv, he gleefully threatened all Russians with death and called for terrible sanctions against us. He has flown back to America and croaked all of a sudden. And then this guy goes on to blame Ukraine. He said that Graham may have asked Zelensky, meaning like he's blaming Ukraine for Lindsey Graham's death. And then he said, oh, maybe he asked Zelensky for more money, or maybe he, quote unquote, knew too much. And then he also told the audience that it was too bad that it was just him. And, oh, it's hard to predict who's next. So, I mean, MAGA, of course, is running with all of this. They got their tinfoil hats on. At least, for once, they're not blaming Antifa. So I guess we're making progress. But in any case, South Carolina has a Republican governor, just to speak about, the political like mechanisms and like what's going to happen next. So the Republican governor would be the one appointing someone to fill the seat. Donald Trump weighed in. He said, hey, I think you should appoint Lindsey Graham's sister, who apparently he basically raised because their parents died when they were both really young, and Lindsey Graham became her guardian or parent legally. I don't know which one. Anyway, so they have now appointed her. She will now finish out Lindsey Graham's term. He had already won the primary, in South Carolina for the Senate. And so now they're going to have to hold another primary, and they're going to have to nominate a new candidate to run against the Democrat in November. So this obviously complicates a lot for the Republicans. I mean, they already didn't have a huge margin in the Senate. And with Mitch McConnell being out, we don't know when he's going to return. So this kind of puts a lot of their agenda items on hold, which is a good thing. And then, Lindsey Graham has kind of been a favorite in South Carolina. So it's possible that now this leaves an opening. It makes it easier for the Democrat to win. We'll see. So anyway, guys, there you go. Like I said, darkly humorous, but I don't think, I mean, there will be some people mourning Lindsey Graham, obviously, but yeah, he didn't make a lot of friends while he was here. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.